joining us again is the Reverend Jesse Jackson. We really appreciate you reaching out to University of Chicago students.
Neighbors.
Neighbors indeed. So one of the things you talked about this week, which made a lot of news, is that the Democratic candidates, besides John Edwards, are really not paying attention to urban issues. I couldn't agree with you more. Here's my issue. Do you think it's the media's not asking the right questions? You watch the Sunday morning shows, Tim Russert, George Stephanopoulos. These guys aren't asking about the issues. Do you wish they asked about it more?
I do, but let me put in perspective. In the article I referenced, John Edwards opened his campaign in New Orleans, which was a way of saying this is the urban crisis setting. But early on, he went on to focus more and more on the Iraq War himself, and then on chasing Hillary. So it kind of left a void there. And then people like Barack who address those issues can't get an immediate traction on those issues. Clearly, we must address in a major way the impact of the mortgage foreclosure crisis, the biggest economic issue we've known since 1929. It has the ability to bring down our economy. About $2 trillion and maybe rising according to Goldman Sachs. The second issue is the need for an attorney general who enforce the laws. It was unprotected people that end up being the victim of this big scam that's not bringing our economy down. And of course, the basic issue of urban policy. Basic urban America has been abandoned in terms of public transportation, public health care.
Look at the CTA issue here. They're not even funding.
That's right.
It's interesting when I spoke to Mayor Daley, he didn't even know the Green Line, one of the most unsafe lines where a lot of crime is. It seems like the politicians don't even know what's going on in our urban cities.
It seems that way, and that's why I would hope for a healthy debate on urban policy, on plans for relieving the victims of the prime foreclosure crisis and the emergency state of Black America. 2.3 million Americans in jail, 1 million of black men. A black kid in New Jersey is 7 times more likely to be expelled from school than a white kid with the same infractions. 5 grams of crack cocaine, mandatory sentencing, 500 grams of pilot probation. 7 of 10 young blacks who not finished high school, young black men in most American cities. This is an emergency, and it's going to cost us to react on the backside and not invest on the front side. So I want these issues discussed.
Statistics are staggering. You talk about not getting traction. I agree. Barack Obama had a great education plan. I think it was announced last week, a $6 billion plan. A, did you like it? And B, were you surprised the media didn't cover it more? I mean, it seems like he's funding teachers to go into urban areas, more after-school programs, all the things you probably really want.
I did like it, but it's not getting traction. And that's a part of my reaction, frankly, to the issues of substance. You know, it's all about horse race. It's all about who has the best line to cut the other person down. For the unemployed, for the unskilled, for those in foreclosure, those without health insurance, these jabs mean nothing.
Another thing that I've read is that early education is what really matters. If you don't start funding universal pre-K, kindergarten, if you pour the money into middle school, high school, you're not even going to see returns. Do you want more focus even on the very early stages?
We know how much development that is by the 8th month term. And we fight the term abortion, so much save the baby. We know that by age 3 how much formation is taking place, medical formation. They're now building jail cells based on 3rd grade reading scores. So it just makes more sense morally and practically to invest in prenatal care, Head Start and daycare on the front side, and not jail care and failure and welfare on the back side. So we need to redirect our policies and our priorities.
We just brought up the media a minute ago. Bill O'Reilly invited you on the show a few days after making some remarks which seemed to be ignorant, didn't seem to give the sensitivity that he should have. Did you felt that when he invited you on the show that it was genuine, or did you feel that he invited you on the show just to appease the media that were jumping on his back?
You know, I don't know. And it didn't matter. I had my own reasons for wanting to be on the show at that time to project our message to a broader audience. That the idea of these race baits, they're so prevalent now. We would lose all of our time chasing the baits and not dealing with issues that matter. I'm concerned about the impact of mortgage, subprime impact on Chicago alone. 30,000 houses in foreclosure, 80,000 late payments on the way to us. So that's a big deal. The impact that 51 million have without health insurance. The kids who cannot, good minds cannot afford to go to school because of tuition costs. These issues get lost in the jostling.
I totally agree. I feel like middle America really cares about these issues, but if people like Bill O'Reilly only bring you on once and then forget about them, it seems damaging. I mean, has Bill O'Reilly ever reached out to you before that or afterwards?
He has, but you know, it's not just O'Reilly. For example, I was on TV 750 hours a year.
Mm-hmm.
She was on radio 1,040 hours a year before he got busted. You look at today, except for Robert on ABC in the morning and Oprah's independent show, there's not a single black host of a morning news show, an afternoon political show, or even a late night comedy show. I mean, all day, all night, all white. We had Arsenio Hall on a comedy 15 years ago, 11 o'clock at night. Now, zero.
And when Tim Russert had Bill Cosby on, he didn't have anyone to argue that it's more a structural issue than a cultural issue. They don't even want to treat it with, like, both sides represented.
He and Larry King, they spent the whole time focusing on the issue of motivation. Motivation matters, but structural inequality matters. We do so well on the football field because the playing field is even. Structure. The rules are public. Structure. Goals are clear. Structure. So that in an unstructured situation where you have adverse structure, it's hard to make progress.